What's up, folks? I do think it's time for some wine. I'm gonna check this stuff out real quick. I'm gonna let y'all check it out with me. There are barely any bubbles. And there's bubbles in there still, but not very much, not very often. I'm gonna go ahead and uncap it, and I'm gonna test it with a hydrometer. What this is, this tests the proof of alcohol, what proof it is, what percentage of alcohol is in my jug. So let's go ahead and pop that off. That won't fit there, so I don't want to contaminate that in case I have to put it back on. Let's put it right there for now. Go ahead and set this down in there. Well, this one is coming up 0. This one's made for liquor, for moonshine, so it ain't working with wine. Either I ain't got no wine, or that ain't gonna work. All right, never mind, forget that. All right, I'm gonna put it in here. I know that this is blackberry wine. I've already tasted it, and I can tell you that's wine. So let's see where it floats at in there. I can't see in there. It's fine time for the flashlight to give up. It's nothing. It ain't working. I must have to have a different one that's on a different scale for wine, so. Alright. Well, that's not going to work the way I thought it would. So, I guess the only way to do it is to smell it. Let's smell it and see if it's wine. This blackberry wine, I used real blackberries on this, and I put them in the blender and blended them all up. They were actually frozen blackberries from Walmart, so I blended those blackberries up, and I made wine out of that mash. So let me just, yeah, that smells like wine, and I think it's time. So I'm going to go ahead and get a siphon, folks, going on this. I'm going to siphon it with this into another jug, and I'm going to give it a try. So once I get this siphoned out, I'll be back and we'll give it a try. But I don't want to pick up what's on the bottom. I just want to go right close to the bottom. For the people that are going to follow me and do this at home, I want to get right close to the bottom because I don't want to pick up any of that sediment that's on the bottom. Because, yeah, I'll show you what's on the bottom. Go ahead and put the light on. It's a fine time for the light to go out, ain't it? Yep, my light's going to go out on me right now. There we go. Let me pick this up and show you what's on the bottom. I don't know if you can see that on camera or not. But there's some garbage in there. You can see a layer right there. Anyway, yeah, you don't want to stir that up. You don't want to move this around too vigorously because that can stir that shit up. I'll be right back, folks. Let me get this siphoned off of here. All right, folks. See where I got my hose? I got my hose sitting in there just above that sediment. You don't want to get too close because it will pick some of it up. Now it's just gradually gonna gravity siphon down into this jug. Slowly. Just let it go slow. And as you can see, quite a bit of bubbles. See, I ain't picking up no bubbles. There ain't no bubbles in there. I mean, there's some bubbles on the tube. I don't know why that tube is creating so many bubbles. But there's a lot of bubbles in that tube. That, it's weird. That's weird. If anybody knows about this and tells me why those bubbles are in that tube, why that tube is creating bubbles. Okay? The inside of that tube is creating bubbles. As you can see the bubbles going by there. And if you're wondering what this is, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. So I'm doing little test samples here and there. That's what that is. So yeah, there's bubbles going on in there. Well, folks, I don't think we really got to wait till all this is done. I'll just pull that little hose out of there, put it over into a shot glass, and we'll get a little sample. There we go. Let me put that back in there. And let's take a taste test. I know this ain't cold. It might need a little sugar added to it or something. It might not be sweet enough, but I ain't got no idea how it turned out. So this is pear wine. This was made out of 100% pear juice. It's wine. I'm gonna tell you what, it's wine, all right. It's good. It tastes like pears. Oh. Wow, amazing. Just from the amount of time that's been out of there, a fruit fly has already found it. Look. Amazing. Just for the time it's been out of there. And it ain't been out of there very long. Okay. I'll say this is a success. I'm gonna have to research those hydrometers, because this one obviously will not test wine. This one tests whiskey. So, Proof and Traley's hydrometer. 0 to 200% scale is proof of spirit scale. The 0 to 100 scale is for percent of alcohol by volume. This hydrometer is for distilled alcohol only. It cannot be used for beer, wine, and other fermented beverages. Okay, well, there you go. If I'd have read the instructions first, I might have not wasted my time. So, this is for the stronger stuff. I'm going to have to go on Amazon and get one for beer and wine and whatever such. So, but I'll tell you what, though, it doesn't need anything. Except refrigeration. Yeah. Actually, it probably needs a nice glass bottle to put it in, and I've got one. I'm going to put some in a nice glass bottle that I can put in the fridge. So, thanks for watching, folks. It is time for some wine. And I got a gallon of it. Homemade. In a month. It took me about a month to make it. Okay, folks, this is what was left in the bottom. All that sludgy stuff. And I siphoned it off really good. Those what you're seeing in there are raisins. I put a couple raisins in there for extra fermentation. I don't know. Anyway, I got a gallon over there. I done put it in the dark. It's on the floor. And I got a bottle full. This is a nice glass bottle with a cork top. I can put in the fridge to keep some cold. And there was a glass full. So I got a little bit more than I expected I'd get. I figured I'd get, that's not quite a gallon over there. That's 3/4 of a gallon. Anyway, I need to wash this out real well now. Okay, for you folks that didn't get to see how I did this, I'm gonna do it again real quick. Just take a nice clean jug. I cleaned my jug out, as you can see, with very hot water. Now I'm gonna dump in 3 cups of sugar. This makes a gallon. All right. Go ahead and put in 3 cups of sugar. And that looks like a lot. That seems like a lot. And actually, that is a lot. Look at that. There's a lot of sugar down in there. That's lots of sugar. Look at that. It's a bunch of sugar. That's okay. The yeast is going to eat it. In this batch of wine, I'm going to use 100% juice, tropical from Juicy Juice, but it's 100% juice, no sugar added. That is important for me when I make this wine. I don't want added sugars, okay? Because I'm adding my own sugar. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up and just siphon it on it, or not siphon it, but funnel it right into my jug. My fermentation jug. That's what this is. There's a half gallon. Let's get the other half gallon. Pour her in there. Oh. It's not going to take it all. It won't take all of the two jugs because of the sugar that's in there. See, it's called displacement. So I'm left with a little bit of juice. I got a little bit of juice left over that won't fit in there. I don't want to go all the way to the top because I need a little bit of room for some air. Now, I'll get my dry, active yeast. Some of this stuff. You see that? Now I forget how much it takes, so I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna have to go Google it. Okay, it's 1 teaspoon for 1 gallon. So I'm gonna try to get a teaspoonful of yeast, and I don't have enough. I don't quite have enough yeast in there, folks. I'll be right back. I have to get some more. Okay, I got a new package of stuff. I know there's enough in here. I just want to get just a regular teaspoon, just like that. Not tablespoon, folks, teaspoon. And then I will very carefully remove my funnel that's all wet. Very carefully get this in there. Try not to get it all stuck to the sides. There we go. Now, there's my stuff. Now I want to take this regular cap. This is just a regular cap that closes this off that came with my bottle, and I'm going to cap it. Cap that off real good. And I'm going to shake it up until all that sugar is dissolved. All right? To dissolve all that sugar, you can either sit here and do like this with it, or take it in your car, your truck or something, go down a bumpy road. Just put it in the seat, which you can go down a bumpy road. It'll get shook up after a while. And once you get it dissolved, you want to let it settle for a minute and make sure that you can look at the bottom and you don't actually see any sugar granulates sitting there. You don't want sugar piled up. You want it to be actually all dissolved into your juice. So let's get that dissolved in there real good. Make sure, let it settle. And once you get that done, you want to put your airlock in there. You got to have an airlock. You buy this whole setup, this bottle and this airlock on Amazon, pretty darn cheap. Just look up 1 gallon wine fermentation kit. It's really what it is. So let me see. I can see the yeast in there. I want to make sure that I don't have any sugar. Looks good to me. All I see is yeast. All right. Now I'm going to take my cap back off. Let's get this back in the back where y'all can watch it. Okay. Take that cap off and wash it. I'll wash it later. But what I'm going to do now is I got my lock, my airlock. I want to put some vodka in there. Okay, folks, the reason I'm using vodka in here is because this airlock is supposed to stop contaminants from getting into my wine. This only lets air come out. No air goes in. So if any air, any contaminants like bacteria or whatever touches this vodka, it's going to kill it, okay? It's going to kill it. Water does not kill bacteria or germs, but we all know that alcohol does. So let me get, all right, my max level is just perfect. I'll go ahead and cap that. We'll plug it. And then we will take our little cap that came with that. The little cap that goes on the airlock. This allows air to go out. It's got some very small holes in it. See that? But it doesn't allow a lot of dust to get in there. So we'll put that on the top. And we'll write the date on it. And we'll go stick it in a closet, in a dark closet, where it stays about 70 degrees. And that's my house. 70 degrees, constantly. I keep it around 70 degrees, if not colder. So a dark closet for about 30 days. And we will have tropical wine. I'm also going to write on the bottle, tropical, so we can, I'll remember anyway. Because, you know, I'm watching it as it bubbles, and I'm checking it every week or so to see how it's going. Anyway, thanks for watching, folks. This episode of Do It Yourself, Redneck Style, on Rednecks Gone Wild.